answer to that question, and you'll let us know. With
Just one more question.
Yeah.
But we have situations, we have multiple ADUs. How do other towns handle
you get an extra.
So this list
Resident.
had the list of codes, and I have not received a definition of those codes, but in going through them, it was pretty clear that you have ADUs in there. I don't know the definition of them, though. Whether it's, me and Andrea talked about this, whether it's a legal in-law apartment that someone went and they got a permit to build it over their garage or next to their house, or if it's someone that just took their garage and did it without permission. So that would be a choice of the town. Yeah, and that would be a choice of the town to call those. They're on the list. I believe they're still within your 1,700 cards.
I think the question is, are they separate? So like the ADU would then get their own separate carts?
The code for the ADU that I saw was like an A and a B or something like. So the single family was 64A, and the ADU, accessory dwelling, was B, or right or left or rear or up or down. So I think they're already accounted for as single units on the scrub list for the delivery.
All right.
I got it right from the tax base, so I'm pretty sure it's legal.
All right. Tony, you're going to get us the answers to those questions. In the meantime, we're going to create some sort of policy. I mean, how's that going to work?
Ordinance, yeah.
Okay. Who's going to create the ordinance?
Say our town administrator.
All right, we'll start there.
Yeah, for a second. Have all of you seen this scrub list yet, the delivery list?
No.
So in looking at these, it's pretty eye-opening and it's pretty simplistic. There's only a few unanswered questions for me, okay, as a professional, okay? So I don't see that you would have any issues whatsoever looking at the questions like we had. What kind of units are they? How many are there? Where are the question marks? And there's so few question marks that I would think it would help a discussion if you all started looking at this list and coming up with the answers to these questions, ADUs, you know, businesses that are in it, and street by day, all that stuff is pretty educational. So you may want to pass that on to everyone. Yeah.
All right.
And
So
I will at very least, just to speed this process up, get a brochure for the coming soon. Even though we had one, I'll make another one now that we're a little closer, and put in some ideas that you guys may want to use for discussion, along with the brochure for your webpage and the brochure that gets dropped off with the cart. When we deliver the cart, they put it in a baggie and they attach it right to the cart, so that you can have some discussion on those and speed things up some, you know?
So we're going to have a proposed policy by next meeting? Okay.
Yeah, and if I can find Tilton's ordinance, I'll send it.
That's soon enough.
That's
I would actually propose that we have a work session next Tuesday to
Agreed.
sit down and just talk trash, come up with a ordinance, and finish this and get it to Casella so they can roll out the program as soon as possible.
I'll second it.
Is that public can still come to that, but you don't
Yes.
have to do the questions? And you
Correct.
can just watch us look.
So I'll try to get you every answer long before that meeting, like tomorrow, the next day, to these questions. And then if you need me when you're at that meeting for advice, you can always reach out to my cell. I'm 24/7. So if that helps.
If you send your email to selectboard@brentwoodnh.gov, it comes to all of us. So we'll see whatever you send.
Have I done that already at all? Do you know? No. I think I might be thinking of the Pinard days. I'm getting older.
Same time for next week, 6 o'clock? Okay. All right. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
For having me.
Yep.
I've been doing this since 1980. Still get calls from
Can we move this
residents
meeting along, please?
towns that have service for, but there's so few of them that, you know.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Right.
Yep. All right, next on the agenda is striping Deer Hill Road. Did you want to address that, Wayne? Let us know what's going on.
Striping on Deer Hill Road, subject on Deer Hill Road. And he's concerned about, on Deer Hill Road, when you get down on this and the 11A, 111A, it's wide, but the stop sign is back. And he's not really sure where he should really stop to be safe. And he also mentioned about on the other end of Deer Hill Road too, to have that striped over there as well. So, I got the letter from the town, your office here.
Yeah.
And, so I started to look into it a little bit. And, I called Aaron Ruby from Exeter Lines. He's done our lining. He did all our lining over there on 125 and South Road on both sides here a few years ago. He did that. He still does it. So I asked him about what would I have to do with this here to go to the state or no. He's got all the equipment to do it, and he also has the paperwork to fill out when he does do it. And he's got all the dimensions that supposedly can do that. My concern now is it's up to you guys if you want us to do it, because once we start that one, we're gonna get more.
So I guess
Some of these other
my
roads.
first question is, I would have no idea where to stripe a line.
Aaron he'll measure it from the end of the road to where it's supposed to go.
Isn't there a stop sign at that intersection?
We have stop sign there, yes. Actually, I think Deer Hill Road on this end's got two, one on each side of the road.
And the concern is what? That there's no line,
Oh,
so you don't
the-
know where to stop?
The complainant is just worried how far down he's supposed to come. Well, you never had an accident there, as far as I know. I don't think there's ever been, knock on wood, right? But,
Because of the
Well,
stop
I-
sign. They miss the corner all the time.
yeah. Some come down further than others. I've seen that in,
I mean, if there
But-
isn't a line, don't you just stop at the stop sign?
yeah. They'll stop at the
Right,
white
so you
line.
stop at the stop sign. I'm
They usually
trying
stop
to
at the
remember
white
driver's
line.
ed.
I know there's some towns that already did. I know Fremont has done some of their roads, and I think Sandown has done quite a lot of their roads too. So that they are doing that, so. What's that? Well, let me get back to you with that. I also, the guys that did the lines, I got a hold of them last Friday. And I met them all over to, store. The trucks were there, and then there was a foreman there in the little orange truck, and I get out and asked him. I asked him what we could do. I know back on, I was told that all the intersections that come out onto a state road belongs to the state. It does not belong to the town of Brentwood. And I know there's a lot of stop signs that the state has put, that stop signs out there, and they take care of them. Just like down on Pickpocket Road, that road coming out of Pickpocket Road, we've had so much trouble. The state put stop signs there. That road, it comes out on 111A. But I asked the questions with the guys Friday, and they couldn't tell me. They said they had to get back to the head boss, so I don't know.
Don't know on whether or not
No,
this would be
I don't know.
a state
That,
responsibility?
the guy that I talked to, he was gonna try to get in touch with his boss and try to call me back, but I haven't received a call back. But, I mean, if I have to go, I can go to the state, and if I have to, I can go further and find out.
Yes.
I would think that's a pretty easy phone call.
Yeah, that would, should be.
Did you, go ahead, Andy.
So it is a good safety idea that any of our through roads have the stop lines. They're reflective at night. They're a little bit more visible. It's a matter of whether we have the funds to do it. But if you look at a road with a stop line and you look at a road and not, it's definitely a safety enhancement. That was the state recommendation on South Road, paint stop lines. It's gonna help people define where they need to be instead of creeping out into the intersection.
Do we have a cost on what this would be?
I don't have a cost. I can find out, because I told Aaron I'd find out what you guys want to do, and then I call him back, and he'll give me a price. He's not that bad, because he did all of South Road over there.
We'd need to
back.
determine too, how many stop sign, how many we would need to do.
Right.
Right.
And not that I want to take business away from Aaron, but we should bid that out too, of who does Fremont, who does Sandown. Since Aaron used to work for the town of Brentwood way back in the day as a police officer.
Ooh.
All right, is there any interest in doing this, or any motion to move this forward, or not?
Well, I think because, you know, a resident brought it to our attention, it's worth looking into and finding out what it's gonna cost us to do it.
Just
I'm
the-
all for safety, public safety.
Yeah, just a specific road, or doing an inventory on all the roads?
I would do an inventory on all the roads.
I'd recommend to do this one here, because we got the complaint. We do this one, see how it works, and then find out how much it's gonna cost us, you know, to do them. And I'm gonna have to put in for more money, I know, I tell you that, for next year, because,
Warrant article for every road that we want to do, and we can do them all at once. Because it's going to be cheaper if we do them all at once
Oh,
than
for
if we
sure.
piecemeal.
But knowing how many there are makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right. And I would say through streets.
Are you able to put together an inventory of the roads, so we know what we're dealing with?
how many roads that you need to be done?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can go around, count them all.
all right, well, why don't you do
I
that,
know we got plenty.
and then we can bid it out and see what it costs, and then make a decision on whether or not we want to move forward.
I also think when you're doing that, Wayne, it would be my suggestion that we look at the signs themselves and make sure, I've noticed a few signs that have got some growth coming through and blocking signs so that you don't really see them until maybe you're right up on them. So I think when you're out doing that, it'd be a good idea to take note if something needs to be cut back so that people can see the signs, right? You know what I'm saying, right?
We've been out doing that for the last month.
Okay, good, awesome,
We're trying to keep up with it.
good.
And we've been out there with the chainsaws, and we got weed whackers, and we got the machine, but the machine broke down last week, so I'm waiting for a part. But we've been out there just doing it with chainsaws and stuff,
Yeah, good,
taking the trees away from the signs.
perfect.
I would suggest we table this for further investigation.
Agreed. I'll make a motion to table it until we hear back from Wayne.
Okay?
Second.
Yep.
I'll get a price from Aaron of what it would cost us to do that, and then go from there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Wayne.
Okay, thanks.
Dexter, you're up.
Evening, everybody. Dexter Swayze, 42 Old Gordon Road, President of the Brentwood Historical Society. My first thing is, the Historical Society had a $5,000 budget for maintenance this year, which we really appreciated. And we've utilized $1,482 so far for the lighting, when 70% of the fluorescent lights went out. So that's good. So we have a balance of $3,518. So
Give
that's,
it back.
huh? Well, that's a possibility. What we've done is we've met, there are issues over at the Historical Society, the Grange building, I'll call it the Grange. And we've met with Andrew Cushing from the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance. And he directed us to have a building assessment done. And he hooked us up with May Williams and Drew Bedard. And May Williams is from a historical standpoint, use of the building, et cetera, architecture. And Drew Bedard is more of the construction aspect. It really needs to have a comprehensive look at it. And that's what these people do from a historical standpoint. The New Hampshire Preservation Alliance will match the funds for the cost of the assessment. We've gotten an assessment from May and Drew, and that would be $6,500. New Hampshire Preservation Alliance would match half of it. That would be $3,250. We have a balance of $3,518. So I'm coming to ask that we could use that money for the assessment for the historical building. Now, if we get it done, then the building could then qualify for what's called L-chip funds. Without it, you don't qualify. So it's kind of a step that you have to, the hoop that you have to go through for the grants and stuff.
And what's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal, well, that will come out from what their assessment is. And I've seen assessments that they've done for other places, like, I'll just say it's Henniker, and they did a church or something. It's extremely comprehensive. It breaks it down to, they look at it, say, for like the roof. You know, you need a new roof and it's gonna cost $25,000, foundation, break it down, da, 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 da. Thing was it was like 25 pages long, this thing. So what you can then do is really prioritize what needs to be done. And I'm just gonna say from my perspective that the foundation, the sill, and rafters down in the basement, there's a section there that it has to be done, period. And to me, that's a priority. Now, they may come back after the assessment and say, hey, you should really have insulation. There's no insulation in the building. But to me, that's not a priority, and that's gonna cost more money. So it's just kind of, I'm trying to help the town prioritize what needs to be done. And I'm still on my issues of we have no well and we have no septic over there. So that may come up also. But they're really looking at it from the standpoint, from the historic standpoint and the construction aspect. So that's my request, if we can use that money. It's for maintenance, and indirectly, I don't see anything right now that we need that $3,518 left for.
So the
And if
request,
we don't use it, it's gone.
so the request is for $3,250 to do this assessment.
Correct, to qualify for the matching fund from the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance.
I'm abstaining from this vote because that's my brother.
Mhm.
So,
I'm abstaining from that vote because that's my brother.
You're-
Oh, what?
can we, the numbers that the town has for the budget aren't aligning with Dexter's number. First of all, Dexter, I'm supportive of the initiative to try to go get matching funds to, especially in light of it
Mhm.
assisting for qualification for L-chip funds. I think that's a no-brainer.
Mhm.
The town's accounting doesn't match your accounting as of this
What?
moment.
Oh, what, the $3,518?
Correct.
What do you have?
like 2,500. So
We-
I would like to get some clarity on.
I would too. Because we've only had Monarch come out to do those lights.
What else do
Alright.
they have in their budget?
What was the total budget for the maintenance?
It was 5 something.
Might have been pest control, which should have came out of town building, so we can fix that.
But are we sure?
Pest control was about that much, about 800, right?
Say it
The
again?
the pest control?
Oh, did that
yeah.
come out of?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, so it should be, yeah, it should have come out of town buildings,
Oh.
but we can
Oh,
fix
well.
that. Yeah.
Is there a
Okay.
separate line for pest control? Okay.
And I'm just going to say that, I'm just going to throw this out, yeah. I had requested pest at a previous administration, and nothing was followed up with it. So we did have Identity, who does the contract for the town. They came out and they did, they sprayed for powder post beetles, and the big one is the black ants. That's the ones that are killing the sill and the beams down there. It had to be done, and so I guess that's where that came out. That's where the discrepancy is. I didn't think that came out of the building maintenance and stuff, so.
I'm not 100% positive that that's what it was. I assume it is, but I would
Is there,
prefer
is
to
there a
just double
timing
check.
thing on this, Dexter?
Yeah, kind of.
No, well, they're kind of, yes and no. They want to, once it gets started, they're booked up till like, late fall, early winter, and we should have their comprehensive plan in the spring. So then the spring would be when we could kind of say, you know, this might be priorities that we want to go for and stuff.
Once we confirm the budget, if we're able to confirm that, can we, vote on this at the next meeting?
Can we just find out, we confirm it right now?
We'll confirm it now?
I might have the,
No,
Is the difference 800 bucks?
I have no idea.
Scott Gillis
I
again.
literally
don't
just
want
asked
to
for this
call
from
him
Jillian
up.
this morning. I don't know.
2 weeks.
How much is in the
That's
budget?
not the end of the world.
Well, that's what I was
$5,000
thinking.
Yeah.
budget.
Let's just, I make a motion to table it until next meeting.
Yeah, until we can, confirm the, maintenance item
Okay,
left. Yeah.
all right.
Second?
Second?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
take it up at the next meeting. Thank you.
Jillian, don't worry about it. Thank you.
We don't have to rush it.
Okay, COLA policy is old business. I think you had wanted that on the agenda, so go ahead.
Yes, I had mentioned this at the last meeting. I would like.
Right
for
in
the-
there, get right in there.
Get like right up on it like this?
Yep.
Okay. At the last select board meeting, I had mentioned wanting the select board to have a COLA policy in place. That would be in the employee handbook, and so I would like to do that. You said you wanted a chance to think about it first, so.
And what was the specifics again?
I would like to say that every employee will receive a minimum COLA of whatever the federal Social Security COLA is for that year. For this region, I think it's by region, right? I don't know.
All right, any discussion with regard to that?
Yep, I'm against it,
Why?
because I'm against it. And end of discussion.
Okay.
My concern about it is that there's a small margin in terms of what we're able to do in terms of raises. So if, I don't know what the benchmark would be for the federal Social Security COLA, but that could end up being a good substantial percentage, if not most of what the cap would come out to. So that's what gives me cause for concern with regard to instituting the COLA at this time.
My understanding is that it's based on the rates of inflation over the last 12 months, and it is intended to make the money that people are earning be worth the same amount that it is now. If we don't do this, then we are essentially paying people less and less every year.
I mean, we'd still be giving people their due in terms of their merit increases.
There's no guarantee of that. And some of you have even said that that's not a guarantee.
Go ahead, Andy.
So, I like your thinking, Letty. I think we need to support our employees. The problem is this board cannot bind another board to financial obligations.
Absolutely, but if we put a policy in place, any other board can choose to rescind it.
No,
Ye-
you,
So
you can't, then you're just playing with the employees. I don't think that's a good idea.
how is this different from health insurance?
Because there is nothing in the employee handbook that says what health insurance they're gonna get.
It is in the employee handbook that we will provide them health insurance.
Correct, but it does
How did
not
that
list the
get there?
plans.
How did that get there then?
It says
How
they
is
can
that?
have health insurance. It doesn't say that we're gonna give them a premium plan. We could give them the cheapest plan on earth.
But how is that
It's not,
different?
it's
How is
not
that not
locking us to a
binding?
dollar value, is what I'm saying.
The key
This
word
is-
is guarantee. And
But no, because Andy, the employee handbook says that we will pay for 100% of a single person's plan, no
Correct.
matter what that dollar amount is.
Correct.
How is that different from saying we will give a raise that is equivalent to the Social Security COLA?
Because now you're creating a dollar amount.
How is that different from the dollar amount being created by the insurance company?
Because every year we pick what policy they
we can
have.
control it.
We can control the dollar amount.
It's a benefit too.
Well, a COLA in the employee handbook would be a benefit too, but
I think that this town has worked really hard over the last few years to get our rates of pay up to, things are happening.
Upgrade.
Up to more fair wages. And it took so much work because for so long, we were not keeping up with inflation. And I want to prevent that from happening again.
Any other,
unfortunately, I don't think we have, I like your thinking, I just don't think we have the power to do that.
Can we put it in front of the voters?
Good.
So if we can make it a warrant article and then it would be okay? Okay.
any other comment or?
Yeah,
I don't know if there was a motion on the floor at this point or what. but-
I think that if you work in this town, you should be able to afford to live in this town. So I'm not opposed to this conceptually.
Yeah, I think if it makes more sense to make it a warrant article and bring it to town meeting, that's fine.
Okay, so then there's no motion and that will be something you would bring forward as a warrant.
Sure. Yep, I can do that.
Okay. And I did miss, Letty, you also had put on there, and this should have been under regular business, meeting streaming.
Yeah, we had talked a while ago about mandating that all of the subcommittees that report to us make every reasonable effort to stream their meetings and have their meetings in this room when possible. It is comical that, but that's my point. We tried, and it's working now. And in addition to that, there have been issues with scheduling where multiple groups have tried to meet here at the same time, and because they're all important that they're streamed, I think we should say that departments or committees should use the calendar system to book the room. I don't know if we need a policy or if we just say it, but
Should be easy enough to follow that.
I just don't know if we have to have a policy or something official or.
It probably should be a Board of Selectmen policy and
Yeah.
how to,
Yep, I mean, I don't have a problem with saying that people should make reasonable efforts to make their meetings public and available.
Second.
and I think to Letty's point, we need to show people how to book the room so that people don't expect to be meeting in here and it's,
Something else going on,
Right.
conflicts, sure. So comment, Jim?
Jim Hazard, Chair of the Cemetery Trustees. I think this is a great idea. I mentioned this last time when Letty brought it up, and I think Jim, you did too. And our last and I think there was a question or a comment last time about trustees and that you guys might not have authority to force trustees to use this system or something. But the cemetery trustees, we did it for our last meeting, and it was great. In fact, Mark was going to show me how to do it, and for whatever reason, I got here early or late. But it was so simple. We just got it working. It's that straightforward. And
You should be here for all the meetings. Huh?
well, I know it's weirdly weird that it didn't work tonight, but it was really simple to use. And I just wanted to say again on the record that it was the first time I believe that the trustees had ever used the meeting system, and it worked out really well because I actually used it to help put the minutes together because that meeting got a little, we had a couple of big items on there, and I had 2 residents call me actually after that meeting saying that they had viewed it online and had some comments about one of the items. So I really think this is a super good idea, and I hope the select board not only says that we all should be using this system, but that we should all have our minutes and agendas posted on the town website. We're I'm the secretary and chair, and we put those up every meeting and every month. So I hope all the others can do the same. Thank you.
Okay. There's a motion out there. I
Second.
think it was a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and I did have Daphne post on a Facebook page that we're having technical difficulties tonight, so if,
Yeah, we don't have to start the whole meeting again, right?
No.
Because we're
No.
recording it.
I think the sign might just be lit up. I'm
No,
not
it's
sure if we're
it's working.
actually.
It's working.
Nope. Okay. Any other public comment at this time? Hearing none. Any other business for the board? John?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Why don't we go around? Can we go around first and just see if there's any business at the table, and then we'll go to you, Mark?
Have you heard anything from Fidium?
They should be all set. Block 5 reached out to them. I had to reach out to, it's not Fidium, it's Consolidated, but it is Fidium. And so Block 5, it should be all squared away now, and all set up, so.
So are we running on Fidium or
Yeah,
are we running
yeah.
on Comcast?
It's Consolidated, so, yeah. But we're good.
Jim?
I don't have anything.
Letty?
Yes. We're about halfway through the year. That's why I'd asked for this. Are we in good shape for the rest of the year? Are we tracking out to be in good shape? Okay. There were just a few lines that I was concerned about, and so, but if you feel like we're in good shape, then
Which ones?
benefit. So I wanted to make sure that those bills were getting paid.
Yeah, they are.
What?
Yes, yep. Through the July invoice.
Okay.
I know there was a big invoice in the accounts payable that we just looked at tonight.
Yeah, it's like $40,000 a month. It's not quarterly or anything, it's per month, so, okay. And then, the other one that I was a little confused about was the bond payments are showing that we haven't made any of them.
I know
So,
that those have been made. Let me look into it.
okay. Okay.
All right, I'll forego, I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't
what's-
done.
Oh, you weren't done.
No, and then the other thing I wanted to ask about is, are we all set with the meeting next week?
Mitchell has it, so I should hear something within the next day. And we can sign, I don't know if Paul wants, I can sign, or if I can sign on behalf.
Okay, did they have problems with it, or?
No, I was asked to forward, Chief asked me to send it to them.
We,
I
we
reviewed
asked you
it.
to send it last meeting.
Yeah, I reviewed it. It looked, reasonable to me. I had some discussions with the chief about it. I think he wanted, one more, set of eyes on it. So it was sent up to.
I thought at our last meeting, we approved moving forward with it after council looked at it. Is that not what happened?
Isn't that what we just said? That the council is looking at it?
Yeah, they're looking at it.
But they just got it?
Yeah. 'Cause Justin sent me the updated one. He sent it mid last week, and he and I talked this morning. So yes, it did go this afternoon, or it went this morning. So.
Okay.
Mark, you had a planning issue, so I'm gonna forego planning. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to the board a little bit about the driveway permit process and the way that it kind of works now and the way I think and the planning board thinks that it can work better. So right now, you go on a portal, you apply for a driveway permit. That permit, depending on whether it's associated with a subdivision, goes off to Chris Raymond, our engineer. If it's associated with what seems to be a home that's already existing, an older home, then I believe Bob Donovan takes care of it. There's some inconsistencies the way that's reported within the portal. Really, the main issue is oversight. So no one ever goes out and inspects the driveway after it's been put in. So basically, you apply for that driveway permit. There's supposed to be, I would point you to RSA 23613, and I would encourage you to read that. That permit gets submitted to Chris Raymond. He reviews that information. I'm not sure, looking at the portal, it doesn't seem to be, there's an approval to that. It just says submitted. And then you put your driveway in, you put your culvert in, but no one ever goes back to inspect the way that it's been put in.
And that's been an issue because.
Huh?
And that's been an issue because.
Well, we've had some interesting, enlightening conversations about driveways, and I think it's inspired good conversation about our existing ordinance with driveway permits and how we could make them better. Now, the Board of Authority, I'd encourage you to read that RSA. It'd be an agent of yours, the way I interpret
What is
it.
the RSA?
23613, I believe that was. Correct, 23613. I'm only bringing this to you to say, hey, if you want to do something about this, I'll do the research to find out what the permit would cost. Right now, it's $100. I would contact Chris and do some legwork and find out how much it really is going to cost in the long term, but I'm not going to do any of that if you're not going to support it.
Can you go back to, you said that sometimes applications are submitted but never approved?
Well, on the portal, it's very confusing to me. They may be approved, it's just not shown within the portal.
Jillian,
So when the driveway permits come in, I send them off to TEC. I usually send them to Chris's assistant. And from there, it's all TEC. I don't do anything with them other than accept payment if needed.
so is TEC doing what they're supposed to be doing?
I can't attest to that.
Have you seen evidence that they are doing what we expect them
Well, I would be, I am not classified as an engineer.
Uh-oh.
So I could not
Yes, we have
attest whether that's true or not.
Abort.